4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. I'm Gary Peter Carlson, world's expert on souls. And here's John of the Light. John.
How you doing, Gary?
I'm doing good, but kind of rushing things to get here.
Yeah, busy. We've all been pretty busy. I thought today it's what is it? Valentine's Day?
Yeah.
February 14, 2025. And if you're okay with it, I have an agenda that I thought was really interesting, and I don't know what you'd want to title this video, but I thought we could really get into the most essential questions that viewers are going to have regarding souls and your research. So,
Okay.
here was what I was thinking we could talk about, which some people might think is a little heavy duty, but it's what matters most, I think. So,
all right.
I thought we could talk about life and death.
Yeah.
I thought we could talk about the purpose of incarnation and reincarnation.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward when you understand spirituality. It's
kind of. I mean,
not as
the reason's kind of open.
Right. Okay. I thought we could talk a little bit about ascension, because ascension is closely tied into the purpose of incarnating and reincarnating. It's very integral as part of the purpose.
Yeah, and there's 2 ascensions.
Right. So we'll get into that. And, ETs, especially in the Law of One, they call it harvest, which I thought is very interesting.
Okay, I'll explain that.
And then I'd like to read a couple of passages from the Law of One and get your take on it. And here's the reason why. I thought we could end with this. ETs who are communicating through this channeling in the Law of One, which you've spent extensive time studying, right? ETs suggest that this coming ascension event, which you have talked a lot about in previous videos, they suggest that the harvest or ascension event, which is the personal ascension event, is likely going to involve a mass casualty event. In other words, that will be the time in which they harvest the souls that are ready for graduation. And I can read you passages and get your take on it. Okay,
yeah. So there's a window going to open, and a lot of star seeds are here to take advantage of the window, as well as a lot of people from Earth. I get that there's about 700 million people that are going to make this individual ascension, and another 300 million could make it if they get their soul positively or negatively polarized. And I try to meet somebody on that.
Right. Isn't it interesting that, religious people talk a lot about some cataclysmic event coming, revelation, the end times. I think different religions have different sort of predictions around a mass casualty event, and most of them do think it's coming soon. And it is interesting that you and I both know and believe that an ascension event, a harvest event, is coming soon. So, I don't believe in coincidence. It's very interesting that ETs link the two together, at least some of them, through the law of one. They've made a strong connection between a mass, catastrophic mass casualty event and the harvest event, which I just find very interesting. We can get there. Why don't we start from the beginning, right? Would you, through your research, would you comment on the purpose, quote, this is from the law of one, quote, the purpose of incarnation in third density is to learn the ways of love.
And some say for God to experience itself.
Exactly. They actually say that. It's about God experiencing itself as if it was broken up into an infinite number of parts, and they're trying to find their way back to source.
Right. You go through, I get 24, there's 24 levels of God that I'm told, and 12 of them are in our universe, and the next two are making universes. And after that, I don't know what they do. They're so higher. Each event, each level, there's beings, and they get a better body each level until the 6th level. And then after that, the souls start combining together to make beings that are just a collection of souls. And that's the next 6 steps. And after that, those beings that are combined again in the next 2 steps. And I don't know what the deal is after that. I haven't been told.
For third density beings, which are the viewers who are possibly, who could possibly watch this video, if they're here, they're in third density. The purpose of third density seems to be to learn lessons of love, various kinds of lessons of love. I can read something from here, from the law of one. I figured you'd probably want to talk about that.
Now, the law
is it that simple? The purpose of being here now in third density, the purpose of incarnating today and reincarnating if you're not in your first life, is to be here in order to learn the intended lessons of third density.
Right. My website shows 15 lessons that somebody else found, and I copied them and gave credit to the person that came up with it. And I rewrote them myself in a different, simpler way, and renamed some of them just so I wouldn't be totally copying the other person. And then there's, of course, a lot more to it. You're supposed to have free will, but I think God knows what you're going to do, but you still seem to have like a choice to do it. And when you do something positive, you get good karma. And when you do something negative, you get bad karma. And this karma is discharged later. And when you move up levels, you use your good karma to get a better deal, if you have a lot of it. And and when you do bad stuff, bad things got to happen to you to discharge that karma.
Right. And when you do a soul report, you can tell people what life they're in, whether they are in their third life or their 40th life, whether they're a wanderer or a star seed. But most people here now are likely native, right? This is their home planet, and they're in cycle.
You go through the cycle of the zodiac, of the 12 astrology signs, you know, like Cancer and Libra and all those. And that takes 25,920 years and roughly 108 lives on Earth. On another planet, the time is similar, but if you live longer, there might be a lesser number of lives. And and early in the deal, if you get bad karma, they give you 3 lives to discharge it. And later in the deal, they have you discharge the bad karma faster. And if you're qualified for Ascension and you take a life at the time when the window's going to open, which is now, people are discharging a whole lot of karma so they can get in shape to make a better Ascension and get a better spot in 5th density. You want to arrive in 5th density with maximum good karma and hardly any bad karma. And also to have what I call a high soul score. Because you can get an ugly body or a beautiful body.
Right.
And everybody in the 5th density has some job that concerns the 3rd density below them or 4th density below them, depending on which density your planet's in, but it's roughly the same. You have a job concerning that, and some jobs everybody wants, and some jobs nobody wants, and probably most positions are in the middle.
Sure. No, I understand.
If you did a lot to help the world and you're very experienced and you got maximum good karma and hardly any bad karma, you'll get a top job.
So on a real basic level, right? We are not our body. We are spiritual beings of light. We are souls. We are spirits. We are involved in a grand sort of a plan here, right? God and the higher density beings who work for spirit, for God, are managing this process. We are all here, right? Incarnated into a vessel for a very short period of time in order to learn the intended lessons that they wanted us to learn, or that they want us to learn in 3rd density. So most of those lessons are about love. What does the law of one say? The law of one says, quote, reincarnation is very basic to the Confederation message. It's about becoming aware of the lessons which we have to learn during this incarnation. Quote, these lessons are always along the lines of how to love better, more fully, more deeply, or with more kindness and understanding. They go on and they say, at the time at which each of you incarnated, each of you was aware that certain lessons were to be the goals for achievement in this incarnation. There's a lot more I could read, but on a very fundamental level, I think people can understand that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. We are not physical beings. So let's talk about death for a second. They made life, especially human life, last for only so long. What's the purpose of such a short life? Is it to critique the experience between experiences? Is it about going to the soul plane when you die to critique how you did in that one incarnation prior to the next?
Yes, I think so. And also, there's other things you do on the soul plane, and then they give you a choice of your next life that you, by what you did and where you're at, and so forth. They give you a choice of a few lives that you qualify for, and you can pick one of them. You might get as many as 12 lives to pick from, and you choose, and you can look ahead and see what each life is going to go through, and you can pick the life that you think you want of the choices you get.
So, okay, so a big part of life is the individual soul is choosing through experience, right? Through decision making, through experience. They're choosing direction. Their soul is orienting itself and developing itself, right? We're talking about incarnation provides soul development, soul experience. And by the choices you make, your soul is orienting itself either more selfishly or unselfishly, correct?
Yeah, I agree with that.
So being of service to others, is that always their hope? Or do they not really care, the higher density beings, God, do they not really care which direction your soul goes? Or do they want people to learn the lessons of love and choose service to other?
They want you to be positive, but
they allow you not to.
I can name these 15 lessons you go through, and you'll see some of them are kind of negative. Like there's anger, appearance, attachment, duality, egotism, fame, fear, fulfillment, greed, jealousy, power, pride, selfishness, sexuality, and wealth.
Right.
But the thing is, you have an oversoul. And an oversoul is 22 to 32 souls. And basically, you all incarnate at once, which actually means within about 25 years, everybody incarnates. And then they wait until everybody dies and comes back to the soul plane. And then they all share their past lives with everybody else. So if somebody else passed one of those lessons, then everybody downloads that past life into their memory and they pass that lesson. And if somebody decides to not come to the soul plane and become a ghost, everybody has to wait for that person to come back. And they could stay as much as 5,000 years before they're forced to come back, which is other people don't like that. So, but
let's clarify something. Most people who are here on Earth today are in cycle, they're third density beings, and they might not realize it, but they're on a path to learn the lessons that you were intended to learn in third density. And once they do, they're going to graduate. Now, when you graduate, you can call that ascension or harvest, but there's a graduation event. And those graduation events are very few and far between, correct? There's not many of them.
You do it once. You can make ascension out of cycle. You can make ascension when the window opens, or you can screw it all together and wait until your soul is 1.82 cycles old, and then you're put in fifth density automatically, and you start at the bottom. So you want to avoid that. You want to make ascension one way or the other. Most people make ascension out of cycle.
But help me understand this. There's not been many ascension events or harvests on planet Earth in the past, correct?
This is going to be the third one. After each cycle is completed, a window opens, and everybody that's qualified for ascension and polarized positive or negative, and all the star seeds that happen to be here can make individual ascension.
So why is this the third event? Why wouldn't there have been more in the past?
Because humanity is 3 cycles old.
Doesn't make sense to me.
7760 years old when we finished the 3rd cycle. So we finished the 1st cycle, a window opened. We finished the 2nd cycle, a window opened. And now we're finishing the 3rd cycle, and the window opens for the 3rd time.
Each cycle being 25,000 years.
25,920 years, yeah.
Basically 26,000 years.
Yeah, you can round it off to 26,000 years. And other planets in our galaxy group, which is, I think, 9 galaxies, the Milky Way and 8 smaller satellite galaxies around it. Earth is in like the Sagittarius galaxy, passing through the Milky Way, I'm told. And in that galaxy group, the great year lasts, I got a section in my God, Matter, and Life page on it, but it's somewhere around 23,000 to 27,000 years for each different solar system.
Right. So let's quickly, I want to clarify one thing. Not everyone here now is in cycle. There are a lot of other beings here who are not from this planet, and they're not in cycle, and you call them and the Law of One and others call them starseeds and wanderers, correct?
Right. And almost all the star seeds have completed their cycle, and they're on Earth to take advantage of the window opening and then make an ascension. And when they make ascension, they'll go back to their planet in the 5th density. And the people from Earth that make ascension will go to the Earth's 5th density.
And the wanderers that are here, they're from a totally different place, a totally different planet,
Right.
home planet, a different galaxy usually.
No. Wanderers are here from a nearby planet, usually within 200 light years away.
Okay.
Within 200 light years away. And a wanderer goes through usually 4th density. 25% of the groups with empathy are in 3rd density, and 75% of the groups are in 4th density. And a soul went through one of those deals and then makes ascension to the 5th density. Now, when he gets to 3/4 of a cycle through 5th density, if he's in the top 8 in 10,000 souls that are there approximately, he's asked if he wants to be a wanderer and go
From
back
5th.
and help
From
5th density 3/4 of a cycle into it. And that's 0.8% of the wanderers make that, the top 8 in 10,000. I'm actually one of those. And now most don't, and they finish 5th density and they graduate to 6th density, which almost everybody will in 5th density if they do things normally.
Right.
Then when they get to 6th density, a quarter cycle into 6th density, which lasts for 5th density lasts for a cycle, and 6th density lasts for 1 to 1.6 cycles, depending on when you got in 5th density. So you get on sync with everybody else. But a quarter of a cycle into 6th density, if you're in the top 9 in 1,000, you're asked if you want to be a wanderer and go back to 3rd density planets and go through a rotation of 5 planets and change planets every life to help that planet with spirituality. And that's 99.2% of the wanderers come out of 6th density.
All right. So if you're a wanderer, how would you characterize the wanderer mission? You are on a mission from God to come back to third density and help younger souls develop?
You help the people around you. If you got a lower skill level, 1, 1.5, or 2 on my rating system, you would just help the people around you. And if you're a 2, you might try to do more, but usually you wouldn't have the skill to do so, which is a combination of your desire and intelligence and maybe a few other factors.
Right.
Now, if you got the skill level 2.5, 3, 3.5, or 4, then you can do things that help a bunch of souls at once, like writing a book, having a powerful website, or holding seminars, talk to crowds, things like that, and maybe something unique, like maybe fixing some energy things or something, or healing people or something like that.
All right, so everyone has an indestructible soul that doesn't die. What about negatives? What about ETs in third density? What about reptilians in third density? Do they all have the same kind of a soul that we do in third density?
Well, like I said in other videos, there's roughly 18 branches of DNA, and 9 of them get a soul that has empathy, and 9 of them get a soul that doesn't have empathy. And that's what balances the universe between positive and negative, or even good and evil. And 3 of each 9 can become people on different planets. The ones without empathy are reptiles, insects, and spiders, which can become people on various planets, and they don't have empathy. And the ones with empathy are mammals like us, birds, and vegetables.
Okay, so the ones with empathy, they're on the same sort of program, so to speak, that we're on, correct? I mean, they're trying to learn the lessons.
We have empathy. We care about other people, especially family and friends.
Right, so they're trying to learn the lessons and graduate to the next level just like we are.
Right. A person with empathy can go negative. A person without empathy can go positive, but it's usually not the case. A person with empathy usually wants to love and help others, and a person without empathy usually wants to service the self, controlling
themselves. Yeah,
for his benefit.
I want to move on, but I just want to make it crystal clear. You know, we're talking about fundamental things here: life and death, the purpose of life and death. The purpose is to incarnate, to experience life, to develop and grow spiritually, so that you can work toward graduating to the next level. Correct?
Yes, that's right. You want to go through your cycle and do it well and have good fun experiences in various lives. If you do good all along, you'll get to pick better lives than if you do crappy. I mean, if you do real bad and kill people and stuff, you might have to pick the next life and spend it in a wheelchair or something like that, or get what do you call it, the Down syndrome or something like that, and spend your life that way.
All right,
which would be terrible. But you could do good things and constantly help people and have one good life after another, where you have lots of money and lots of friends and you're helping lots of people and everybody loves you. You could constantly have lives like that if you deserved them.
No, I understand. So let's clarify what I meant by my previous question was, if you're not positive, if you do not have empathy? What would be the purpose and the goal of their life? It's not exactly the same as ours.
No, it isn't. And that's a tough question that I wasn't really ready for. But I would say that
they still graduate to the next level eventually, correct?
Same as us, yeah. They do the same as us. The only difference is they can't go to fourth density. They can they live in third density only, and when they make ascension to fifth density, a person with empathy can make ascension to fifth density from the third, or their planet can be in the fourth density, and then they can make ascension to the fifth density. Fourth density is the same power level as third density.
Okay.
Fourth density is like a deluxe third density that souls without empathy aren't allowed to go in. For God set it up that way.
Let's move on quickly to try to get to the last topic. The topic is Ascension, what some ETs have called Harvest. That is coming very soon. You've predicted an Ascension event to be possibly in the next 5 years, correct?
I was told a long time ago that it was 2025 to 2029. And some gentleman called me and says, I have this real good spiritual source, and they told me that this individual ascension event is going to be in 2027. Does that agree with your work? And I says, yes, that's the middle year of the 5 years they gave me. So I tell people that individual ascension is likely in 2027. I think a window's going to open, and it's probably going to stay open for 2 months. And eighth density beings from all over are going to be sent here, and they take individual people one at a time from third density to fifth density. You don't have to die or anything. They'll just take you alive. I think all your possessions and clothes and everything you're wearing will drop off, and you'll change from the third density to the fifth density. And
like a rapture in a weird way.
It is, yeah, it's another name for it. The Catholic Church calls it the rapture. And then when you get there, you'll meet all the people that are already there that are in your oversoul. Basically, probably people that made ascension out of cycle if you've been qualified for ascension for a long time, which a lot of people are. And then shortly after that, you'll be sent to another place where it's like high density orientation. You'll go through an event that I'm told lasts around 6 weeks of Earth time, and you learn all about high density living, how to like read other people's minds and talk in telepathy, and the things you can't do and the things you should do, and how to treat other people the way that you should, and how they'll treat you. And
so let me ask a couple of questions.
Negatives, and there'll be all kinds of stuff to learn, and it'll be a fun event.
So this Ascension event, obviously, not everyone is going to participate in this Ascension event. The reason being that there's only a certain number of people who have learned the lessons of love that they were intended to learn in third or fourth density, and they have earned the right to graduate, correct?
They're old enough. They've been here there for a cycle. And that's around maybe 12% of the people are ready to go, and as many as 15% of the people can go if they get their soul polarized positive in the next 2 years. Now I know a few star seeds that screwed up real bad and pursued bad things, and their soul score went way down, and they got all kinds of bad karma. And I tell them about it if they'll listen to me. And I tell them, like you're digging a hole and you need to stop digging.
Right. All right. But let's talk about some good news, right? The good news is even if you don't make ascension, that's not really a problem, right? Death does not end it. We're talking about an indestructible soul. Everyone has a similar experience, and they go through a quite the similar experience. And so only those that have lived for long enough, who've learned the intended lessons, will have the opportunity to graduate. And if you don't, what you do is you simply go back to school.
Yeah, or you wait for the 1.82 cycles and go automatically. Or
Right.
You might be able to make ascension out of cycle if you miss the event too.
Right.
Okay,
so if you miss the event,
36 minutes now. It's probably a good.
Okay. We could keep going a little longer because I want to finish what we're starting.
Okay, sure.
All right. So if you don't make the event, it's not a problem, right? Up to maybe 90% of humanity won't make the event.
Well, if their soul's younger, yeah, they're not qualified.
So when they die, they simply go to the soul plane and then they get reincarnated and keep going back to third density.
And keep working on their cycle, yeah.
Okay.
Which is 85% of the people, maybe.
All right, I'm gonna read
a few people finish their cycle, but they didn't get their soul positive, so they're gonna miss too.
All right, I'm going to read a couple of passages real fast about ascension. This is in the Law of One, Book 1. You've all seen it. You've all heard it. You know exactly what I'm reading from.
Okay.
Quote, at some time in the future, and we're talking about maybe in the next 5 years, at some time in the future, something that the Confederation has called the harvest will take place. This concept of the Judgment Day differs from one that you're familiar with. As a result of this harvest, some will go on to a new age of love and light and will learn new lessons in a very positive and beautiful density, as the Confederation calls it. Others will have to repeat this particular grade of lessons and relearn the lessons of love. They go on, quote, there's going to be a harvest, as you might call it, a harvest of souls that will shortly occur upon your planet. We are attempting to extract the greatest possible harvest from this planet. This is our mission, for we are the harvesters. In order to be most efficient, we're attempting to create first a state of seeking among the people of this planet who desire to seek. This would be those who are close to the acceptable level of vibration. Now, they go on and they talk about actual potential physical trauma to the planet. Now, I want you to see if you can make a connection between a potentially traumatic event, a catastrophic event, possibly a mass casualty event, with ascension. Now, I'm not sure that's going to take place. You and I have discussed that many times in the past, and we're both open to what happens. We're not sure what's going to happen, but
I think it's already happening.
It started, right?
When the age ends, and the great year is the end of the 12th age, there's usually all kinds of turmoil. And all kinds of people on the planet are discharging karma. And it's not just the people that are qualified for ascension are discharging karma to make ascension. Other people that are in cycle are in these wars and took the jab and died.
What does Christianity call it? They call it revelation, right? So there's some correlations here, right? But in this book, they actually tell us, quote, there is a season upon your planet which shall be highly traumatic within your physical illusion. The physical reasons for this are varied. Your scientists will spend a great deal of time while they can in attempting to catalog and describe each of the conditions which will produce disaster on this physical plane of your planet. That which your scientists speak of is quite so, and will be part of the program which has been predicted by all of those holy works which you have upon the face of your earth. Now, they go on and on. I think this is very important. It's not either permissible or possible for us to tell you precisely what events will occur or when they will occur. Remember, they're talking about this in reference to the harvest. So they're actually connecting a traumatic physical experience with the timing of harvest, or what we might call ascension. And they go on to say, due to the fact that the vibration within the mind and heart of the peoples upon your planet is determining and will determine the precise events. Quote, for the rain and the wind and fire will destroy only those things which are in what you call the third density of vibration. You may value those things because you cannot imagine what a fourth density existence would be like. They go on and they say, if within your spirit, your graduation day has come, those things necessary for your emergence into fourth density will be done for you. All will be accomplished by helpers, which you must be aware you have. It is extremely, this is the last paragraph, it is extremely possible that damage will occur to those things which you identify with yourself in the third density. If we may speak plainly, you will observe the valley of the shadow of death. These very words, my friends, have been spoken to you before, and yet you cling to that physical body and those physical surroundings as though your spirit were attached quite permanently to them. They're basically saying death isn't the end. It has no bearing. It's just a intermittent period of experience. So
let me say one correction here.
Yeah.
When the law of one says fourth density, that's what I call fifth density.
You call fifth.
Because they combine what I call fourth density, they combine that together with third density, and they skip that.
I wanted to make the connection that the law of one makes, which may or may not occur. We don't know yet. But they make a connection between a mass casualty, disastrous event on this planet. They make a connection between that and a season of harvest or an ascension event. I don't know if they're connected.
Yeah, we're going through it already. There's a lot of crap going on. All right, let's end with that.
All right, my friend, I appreciate your experience and your advice and your counsel, and we did another one. Much love to everyone out there. We'll see you again.
Okay.